production quality. Yes, it's a sunny day, but this isn't about the video, it's about the audio. Despite how good looking this man is, Chris Nicholson, the Aussie skipper of the team Vestas Wind.
Vestas.
I know, I'm just repeating the way Knut says it.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of Vestas Wind behind us, looking out here on the edge of the bay. It's on today, huh, Nico?
Yeah, no, there's plenty going on. I think when we start and we do this little reach across, it'll be sort of under the shadow of Table Mountain potentially, but then there'll be anything from 25 to 40 there, and then as we then come back and get out around the corner, you know, the locals are fully scaring me with anything from like 30 to 50.
Wow.
So that'll sober.
What about your shore-based router? I mean, do they agree, or that's just it's micro?
Yeah, it's just such a small local feature. But yeah, like, you know, we went up Signal Hill at 5:15 yesterday, and pretty much was blowing the top off the water around there. So stand by.
So I'm sort of expecting this little in-port lap that you do, and maybe the first night is going to be really conservative for most of you guys. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, not highly unlikely anyone's going to win the leg here, but you'll certainly lose it pretty easily. So, you know, no, we've just got to get through the night. You've got to remember as well, like most breeze we've had this boat in is like 27, 28 knots of wind when you're all organised, when you're totally prepared, you've got your stack in the right spot, you've sort of slowly worked your way into it to get hit by it like that, straight on the night time of leg one with, you know, with a lot of kelp in the water, land masses around you. Like it won't be pleasant. It'll be far from pleasant.
Are there other obstacles? Are there fish nets here? Is there traffic? Is there other stuff to worry about? Much?
Yeah, of course there'll be, well, maybe the fishing boats won't go out in that, but they're pretty hardy, the people around here. It's just a lot of kelp, and the fact the southeast has been blowing, you know, it's just tearing off the bottom. So,
and they're big, thick stringers.
Yeah, like they're
like 2 inches around.
2-3 inch diameter, and you can't cut through them, and you have a lot of difficulty getting them off. And you know, I'll be amazed if everyone doesn't have an issue of kelp between here and the corner. You know, potentially if that's your only issue, you might be in all right shape.
Yeah. One of the things I'm hearing is that when this big blow goes away, there's a short transition period to well, it goes light and right, and then you get another blow.
Yeah.
Whatever hours later,
yes.
But it's a weird transition. As far as I understand, it's not just going to fall off. There's spots where it'll go down to 8 knots and then back up to 35 knots. That's dangerous stuff, right?
Yeah, well, you know, and then you throw in the Agulhas current and you know, like and confused seas. Yeah, like it's just, you know, for sure it's going to be a tough start to the leg. But I got to say, you know, this will be my 5th out of Cape Town. 2 have been most unpleasant, 3 pretty good. So, you know, I'd say I might even up the ledger. No, I'm 2 for 2. I think it's firmly going to go into the way of unpleasant.
Hey, I don't mind. I mean, that's good stuff for us, you
mate,
know.
Exactly.
Certainly going to look good on the camera.
There'll be plenty to report on, and then, you know, I'm sure the chopper will be up first thing in the morning and the following day. So, you know, like it's good. We've kind of, you know, I think, you know, mentally, I know all of our guys are ready for the conditions ahead, even though we haven't been in them. So.
Let's talk about you know, you and I have talked a lot over the past couple of years. You've tried really hard to put together a campaign with Daltz and the Team New Zealand guys and some of the old Cup sponsors, and couldn't make it happen. This one, obviously, super last minute, but it worked. And I just sort of wonder, you know, are you still just happy to be here, or are you fully in, no, this is all, you know, you're going to win this thing and that's that?
Oh, no, like we wouldn't have, all the people that are here in this program wouldn't have been here if they didn't want to win the race. Whether or not we, you know, I still believe we can, but we've got to prove to ourselves and everyone else we can. You know, a 4th proof that we can do well. But, you know, we still have a bit of a ways to go before we can knock it out day in, day out with you know, the better prepared.
Just missing
things.
A few gears that you don't know how to use yet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And it's funny, you know, like, and it's not until you get back and you debrief that you actually go, right, this is our way forward. Even though we're doing it real time on the boat, it doesn't sink in, and you don't quite often get the buy-in from everyone on board. It's not until you get back to shore, you go through it all and have a bit of time. And we actually didn't do it properly, the performance meeting, until yesterday morning.
Oh wow.
We did a little one before we left and broke up, and gave everyone time to think it through, so you get a full commitment from everyone as this is the way we're gonna get faster and move ahead. And I'm happy with where that's going to be. So we'll try different sail combinations, different steering technique, water tanks, the whole lot, all slight variations, because at the end of the day, we're 97% there anyway. We just got to get this last
3% over 8,000 miles is a big number.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Exactly. And we could see, when we had everything set up in the last week perfect, we could knock it out first or second in skeds. Yeah. So we know we can do it in a lot of the conditions. There's a few that we don't have the finger on the pulse on.
What do you think's your biggest weakness then, specifically?
I think it's sort of like it's a light medium air VMG that I think Brunel and Don Feng are pretty slippery on. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's just a trim technique and a driving technique, obviously at the same time. We'll get there. I'm glad. It's the easy sell for One Design, all this, because it's like, righto, we know it's not the kit. It's something that we're doing, and it's like, righto, front up to the mirror and go, own up to it. Like we can't match with these guys in this. How are we gonna do it? And that's what I mean. Performance meeting yesterday, it takes time to everyone to go, righto. Because pretty proud bunch of guys, and no one likes to admit that we're off the pace in certain areas. And we've got every kind of there's plenty of reasons why, but we can't keep. We just got to own up to it.
It's nice that you can't blame it on the boat, though, isn't it?
Exactly. Because normally in the past you go, well, it's probably the size of the sail, or it's a cut, or whatever.
Clifford, or
yeah, exactly. So I much prefer this.
Yeah,
because
good stuff, man.
Yeah.
What about watch schedules? Standard 2 hours, alternating?
No, we run 4 on, 4 off, and I'm always up for basically the watch handover. So quite often I'll drive before the watch leaves and after the watch comes on, to try and keep some continuity with that. And we can run it. We run standbys, but having said that, we hardly ever had to dive into a standby last leg. But we've got a group of guys that half the time you almost got to send them back to the rack rather than wake them up. Pretty much if they hear some rumblings on deck and hear some grinding, several of them just get up.
Oh, that's how many years does it take to bang that into you?
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool. And it is cool. It's just good to see that. You don't have to be downstairs kicking everyone out of bed. They're into it.
How many great drivers do you have?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I fit that category. I reckon.
I think you're okay.
I reckon.
I think Olympic medals tend to
1, 2, 3, 4. I think we have 4 locked in now, with another one very close on the way.
Excellent.
We're just, the young guys were nailing it in the night towards the end of the leg, and I didn't expect them to be at that stage by now. And in the day they're as fast as anyone. So confidence is the key to it all, and it's not have a big crash in the middle of the night. So on the way down here, I did quite a few all-nighters, and I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be a hard way for me to go around the world. So kind of, they end up taking it on and stepping up nicely. Donnie Johnson and Nikolai and Peter, they hadn't used instruments or hadn't used a wheel really until a few months ago, and now they're
match racing and cats.
Yeah. So Donnie done a fair bit of offshore yachting, and he's A grade driving at the moment. So but it's interesting. they're still a bit raw, and they're fast, but they're pretty hard on the boat. So, you know, try not to be too critical of them, because then you tell, like I said to them once, you know, just got to take it a bit easier on the boat, and then they went from being fast to slow.
Yeah.
So in time, that's what I keep saying to them, in time you'll smooth your technique out a little, and you'll be smooth, you won't overload the boat, and you'll still be fast.
How much warning do these boats give before they get knocked over?
Not a lot, because in order to make them perform, you're running high heel angles. You can see the heel angles are pretty high.
So they're always on the edge of stalling.
Yeah, because we don't have enough riding moment as such. So you got to heel it over for the riding moment to come into play. So
just a question: if they were to go back and make a significant change to make the boat sort of handle a little better, you think they would angle these rudders out more? Since you're so heeled up.
Yeah.
I think they're sailing with more heel than anyone expected, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, like, it's not. I don't think it's not such a great thing anyway, because you know, it's more dangerous for moving around the boat, both on deck and below. You know, I think you'd look at somehow increasing the riding moment to solve the issue.
It's a tough one too, though.
Oh yeah, you don't get any for nothing, do you? You know, whether or not, I don't know, that's increased ballast tank or something like that, which might be the way forward. But they actually, I quite enjoy some. They're tricky little boats to get puzzled out, and like I said, we're not there yet, and it's like quite motivating trying to.
Well, you've never been one to shrink away from a challenge.
No.
But look, I know you got to get the stack done, and we're at 12 minutes, and I'm going to get this online. So it's great to see you, dude, and we're going to do it again in Auckland, I hope.
Love your work, mate.
And I love yours too, brother. Love yours too. Sorry for breaking that story a little early.